The birth of a new age. In the 15th century, there was a rebirth or renaissance of interest in the arts and sciences. It began in Italy. The works of the great Latin and Greek writers were rediscovered and studied for the first time since the fall of Rome. They inspired artists and scholars to turn away from strictly religious views of life and concentrate on human beings. Renaissance painters and sculptors began to explore the beauty of the human body, and poets wrote about human feelings and experiences. These new ideas also caused people to question traditional views on religion. Many thought that the Catholic Church, pages 30 to 31, had become corrupt and needed change. A group of reformers called the Protestants rejected the authority of the Pope in Rome and set up new churches in Northern Europe. This movement became known as the Reformation. It divided the Christian world and brought to an end the all-encompassing power of the medieval church. Religious reformer. The religious reformation was spearheaded by a German priest named Martin Luther, 1483 to 1546. In 1517, he wrote a list of 95 arguments against Roman Catholic practices and nailed them to the door of Wittenberg Cathedral, provoking a wave of protest against the church. Hand-painted decoration. Gothic type imitates handwritten text. The printed word. Few inventions have changed the world as dramatically as printing with metal type. Printing was developed in Europe by Johannes Gutenberg, circa 1398 to 1468, who produced the first printed Bible in the 1450s. This process replaced copying laboriously by hand, which made books rare and expensive. Patron of painters. The Italian city of Florence was at the center of the artistic Renaissance. This was due largely to men such as Lorenzo de' Medici, 1449 to 1492. Nicknamed the Magnificent, he used his wealth to employ artists such as Michelangelo, page 7. New schools. Before the Renaissance, nearly all schools were run by the church. Afterward, many new grammar schools were founded by rich merchants and noblemen. The spread of education was hastened by the wider availability of books. Constantinople falls. The Middle Ages ended as they began with invaders from the east, this time the Ottoman Turks. In 1453, after a long siege, they conquered Constantinople, which became the Muslim city of Istanbul. It was the end of the 1,000-year-old Christian Byzantine Empire in the east, page 6. Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1519, embodied the spirit of the Renaissance. He was a brilliant painter and sculptor who also had a keen interest in science, engineering, and architecture. His most famous painting is the Mona Lisa, but he also produced detailed anatomical drawings and sketches for numerous inventions such as the flying machine. New firepower. The development of guns made an enormous difference in the warfare after the mid-14th century. Cannons could break down stone walls, bringing an end to the era of the impenetrable castle. Great navigators. In the 15th century, Europeans embarked on great voyages of discovery as they searched for sea routes to Asia. From the 1420s, Portuguese sailors ventured down the long west coast of Africa in caravels like this one. In 1488, Bartholomew Diaz rounded the Cape of Good Hope and sailed into the Indian Ocean for the first time. By 1498, Vasco da Gama had reached India. Meanwhile, Christopher Columbus crossed the Atlantic in 1492 and claimed America for the Spanish king.